So how do you schedule a Zoom meeting for your students? It's really easy. Let me show you how. When you log into your Zoom Pro account from the home page, you select Schedule. Once you've opened the Zoom scheduler, you use the following options to help set up your meeting. Topic is the first thing that's presented to you. Try and choose a meaningful name here because the topic name is what you see when you go to your meeting list, and also the file name of the meeting if you choose to record it. So make sure it's meaningful to you and to your students. This might be a meeting name, topic name that I would choose. The Start button tells you the start of the meeting time. For example, you might want to make it the 31st of July. And you might choose for that to be at 5 p.m. You can change the duration. At the moment it's defaulted to an hour. You might choose instead to make that 30 minutes. Time zone. In most instances you won't have to worry about that, but be aware it's there in case you're having a meeting with somebody overseas. Recurring meetings are a useful option. If you'd like to have a weekly running meeting that happens every week at the same time, you can select the recurring meeting. It also gives you a meeting ID that's consistent each and every time. So there's only one link for students to select to come back to that particular meeting. You can choose whether you want the host, that would be you, and the participants, they will be your students, to have video when they join. I tend to leave those both on. Audio options, again, I set it to the default to allow them to have voice or telephone. Meeting options, you can put a meeting password if you so choose by clicking on the button there and popping a password in. I tend not to worry because we actually want people to attend our meetings without making it terribly difficult. Clicking Enable Before Host means that students can join the meeting if you're running 5 minutes late. Then they can actually jump on board and talk to one another while they're waiting for you. I tend to use that. The next option is whether you want to use your personal meeting ID. It's always the same meeting ID, your personal one. And if your students get to know you and get to know that you use the same meeting ID, it just makes it a little bit easier for them. So I tend to choose that particular one. Now you can choose to set the meeting scheduler to your iCalendar, your Google Calendar or others. I tend not to worry about it, so I select others. Then we simply click on Schedule. So our meeting is now scheduled, which is great, and it gives us a whole lot of information that says it's basically an invite that you can cut and paste and send to your students. I find it a little bit confusing, so I only take one piece of this piece of information. What we're looking for is the URL that the student has to click on to actually join the Zoom meeting. So I tend to take that off and copy it and paste it into a Word document that I then upload to the LMS and email to students. And my document tends to look something like this. So I tend to let everyone know that I'm running 1, 2 or 3 workshops in a week. I encourage them to attend, and then I tell them what date the meeting is going to be held, what time, what type of session it is, that it's a Zoom session, and I remind them that they can join the session remotely from home, from work, from a coffee shop, on their PC, their Mac, their iPad, their iPhone or an Android device. I also remind them to join. All they need to do is click on this particular button at the right time and they'll be taken to the meeting. That's it, guys, really simple. Once you've scheduled a meeting, you can go back to the home page and go down to the meeting icon on your Zoom Pro account, and it tells you the various meetings that you've scheduled. You can go in and edit those if you make a mistake. You can copy them and put them in an email or in a Word document and put them on the LMS to let your students know. That's it, guys. Have fun with it.